Right. So basically, you have to turn round, and then what does it say about what happens if you? Does it say anything if you hit the edge?
On page what?
34.
Let's find it. So my pet's gone to sleep. Page 34. Troops are in the enemy ZOC if they're directly in front.
Well, the point is, if you have to go your whole distance, you fall off the board. But it does say that you stop if you meet an obstacle. So let's just to make it simple, let's just assume you go to the edge of the board. Yeah.
Which is the obstacle.
Which is an obstacle. It doesn't normally count as an obstacle, but yeah. I mean, the alternative is to stay there, is to line up. I suppose you want to bring these people up, so that's the right move, isn't it? Okay, yeah, let's done that.
The cavalry are gonna wheel round, go forward.
Yeah.
And wheel in that direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
So they can go up. They can end up here somewhere where my finger is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Presumably, you actually really want to be over here, do you, rather than over here?
Yeah.
So there. Bring in this one. I suppose you have to, really. So that's you, right?
The end warband with the 3 on it, the blue dice 3. I wanted to break it off from that formation and turn it 180 degrees and then reverse. So it's coming back towards there.
You want to come back this way?
But I want it to be facing outwards. That's it. Yeah. So how many moves got? So it's going to cost me 1 to turn round, and they've got a movement of
3.
I've got.
You could. I mean, let's move the back rank, right? You could end up there, but facing that way. No, and you're not allowed to make 2 moves. The only people who can make 2 turns in a go are light troops.
Okay, so in that case, then I don't want to go that far back. I want to go. So if you put your finger on that behind them.
Yeah.
A little bit more, a little bit less. Move a little back there. Yeah.
You want to stay in the field, really, don't you?
That's exactly what I want to be there. That's it.
Perfect. Why do you want to face that way?
Because I can only do 2 turns. I want to make the second turn to be facing outwards, but you just said I can't.
Why? May I make a suggestion?
Please do.
Why don't you turn 90 and face that way?
Right now. Okay, I'll do that.
Well, I suppose actually I can answer that question because ultimately
I was just worried.
It depends what you're going to do. It depends what you're going to do with these 2. If you're going to keep these people busy, that makes sense. If you're not, then you expose yourself to me charging you in the flank, which is not such a great plan. So it depends what these 2 are going to do.
Well, I was going to slide them over, so it's going to retire, and those 2 are going to incline to the edge, so they're going to move up to the edge, but not out of the.
Yeah, there's another difficulty with that, and that is that if you slide, you have to go 1 UD forward. Oh. So you don't want to come out the field. So let's do what you said. A turn. You want to do a turn. You can turn and rotate and wheel, can't you? So you could do this effectively. So you turn round.
That's exactly
then you wheel like that.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, turn a wheel. You can do. There's some because of the things you can do like slide, turn, or wheel. You can do. The one you can't do together is a slide and wheel, but you can do a turn and. Oh, I'm not sure whether you can do a turn and slide. I'd have to look that one up. Anyway.
Okay, and finally, with the 6 dice.
Yeah.
I was hoping to slide them, but you say I can't as a.
Well, you can do some sort of weird wiggle wheel. So you could, if you're trying to do, you can do wheel and then wheel back, and you'll sort of you'll edge across, slide a bit, but
not out.
But not out. No, that's right. What you can't do is what you might have wanted to do, which is to slide a whole 1 sideways.
That's what I was after. So
you can only do that if you come one forward.
no, that's fine. That'll be my move. Okay.
So that's it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I see what you're doing? Yes, I probably do.
Read me like a book.
Well, there's only so many things you can do, isn't there? In a minute it'll be about. I mean, yeah. Well, you're gonna assume that I'm gonna come down here, and you're gonna want to try and intervene. So it's a little bit about what you do over here, isn't it? Anyway, right. So we've done your move. We're doing shooting now. So it's your go. This bloke shoots. Except no, he doesn't shoot when he runs off. This bloke shoots at the front here, only, but not the one behind him, because he's obviously got the one in front of him. So you shoot this guy on the end. Can you see if I put this? Where can I put it where you can see it?
Just
put it on your camp.
That's fine. Now.
Try and roll them this way. Oh, you won by 3. That could be embarrassing.
I might down one because I'm.
My army list. Do these legionaries have armor? I think they do, don't they? Legionaries, heavy swordsman, armor, impact. Right. Okay, that's another interesting roll. Right. So you're a light troop shooting down to 5.
Yeah, in the open.
My protection for a heavy infantryman, for a heavy swordsman, is 1 up to 4, and because I have armor, it goes up to 5. So on the quick reference sheet, you'll see abilities, armor and heavy armor, +1 to protection. So effectively, these guys are protection 2. And we didn't mention elite status, but what elite would do is it means if you roll 1 to 4, it brings the bottom end of the range up.
Okay, so it's a tie.
So that's a tie, even though it looked really good to start with. It's because actually these guys, well, like I said, Roman legionaries, you just have to suck it up and get stuck in.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're as hard as nails. Okay. As I'm about to attempt to prove, but we'll see whether it works. So that was your shooting. My shooting won't take long, I don't think, because that bloke's out of range. We'll say that bloke's out of range there as well. Because it would be embarrassing if my slinger got another hit, wouldn't it? Right. Nobody else shoots, so that's no fighting. So it's my go, yeah.
Yep.
So I rolled. Oh good lord. More pips than you can shake a stick at. So 4 and 1. No, we've all had 4 and 1 so far, haven't we? Every go. Yeah. It doesn't always happen like that. I have to tell you.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm not. Well, clearly not. No. Let's measure 2 rather than 1. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So 2. I measured it a minute ago. I should be 2 away from you. So you can be sure that I'm arriving next go, unless something very bad happens.
Well, it won't, will it? I might be too. I think my bit of business on the flank might be too late.
Oh no, it's not them. Right. It's all very keen, wasn't it, Steve? We were lined up. Right, there we go. So, and we're 2 away. So that's me. Right, what we're going to do now, so we've got 4 left and hardly enough men to justify that. It's quite a small army. So there's cavalry around, so we're not leaving the wood. And there's cavalry around, so we better stick together. So that probably means we're not moving. So I think this one's going to come up here. Unnecessary. No, it probably is necessary. And now I've got 3 pips that I don't know what to do with. Well, that's it. That's all I can do. Graham, I'm going to need to go for a quick bathroom break. So, the Romans are going to down tools for a minute.
All right, okay, no worries.
It'll be 2 ticks. I won't take the headset with me. I made that mistake once. So let's just cover a couple of things. So this guy being here with his zone of control here means that you can't charge, this guy can't charge him in the side.
Okay.
Because to hit him in the side, you'd cross his zone of control, so you'd then have to conform to him.
Yep. Very DBME.
Yeah. I mean, but there are things you could try and do other things about it if you wanted to. Because the difference between this and DBMM is that zones of control don't stick through other troops. I've always thought that was very odd in DBMM. So if you had something here, then this bloke's zone of control doesn't protect that anymore. You with me?
I'm with you.
Right. Okay. So I did my move, my shooting. We didn't do your shooting, but there isn't any. So it's your go, isn't it?
Roll that white dice.
4.
4. So I get 4. 4 plus 2, wasn't it? 4 plus 3?
4 plus 2.
4 plus 2 is 6. 3 to get 4 dice.
Yep.
3 plus 1. Okay.
Yep.
So what are my cavalry like against your auxilia?
So we look at the factors. So heavy cavalry, the answer should be they should be quite good. So you count as medium cavalry, but you've got armor, and so you are 1 against medium infantry. So you're 1. You add 1 in the first phase versus medium infantry, unless you already have impact, and you don't. So you add it. So you're 2. Your factor 2. Mine are going to be 1. I'm 1 versus everybody but knights.
But you've got an overlap, haven't you?
Well, that depends on whether you choose to send them in on their own or not. So this is where it all starts to get.
It's whether I charge the light cavalry in against your slingers.
Oh God, I wouldn't do that.
No, not into the terrain.
Oh, no. So basically, these guys, you're going to go in here, 1 factor up, and you've got armor. So if I did win, you'll absorb the first dice without having to get a wound. So it's quite a good chance you'll win. You also, because you're cavalry and I'm foot, you'll have what they call furious charge. So if you win, I get an extra wound.
2 wounds.
Well,
at least 2.
or 3, which will kill me outright.
Yeah.
I am medium sword impact.
Can I move those cavalry individually?
Yes, but it costs you pip each, costs you a dice each time.
1, 2, 3.
So I mean, strategically, you've essentially got a choice between. Probably the best thing is some complicated maneuver here that might involve 3 pips.
What I was thinking about doing was breaking off the guy on the end and then shimmying him over so he's creating a zone of control against your cavalry who are protecting the flank.
What, here?
Yeah. That would be 1. The second one would be, can my guys charge out the woods and hit your auxilia?
This is a field. Yes.
See, that would be an option, wouldn't it? So 1, 2, and 3. And charge the front rank of the cavalry into the other one, into the one in the middle, in the auxiliary in the middle. See, what I want to do is I want to pin the key thing with this would be to pin your cavalry that are sitting back.
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to look at whether you conceivably get the front rank into that one, and the answer is no.
No, I didn't think I would. So
no.
What I was thinking of was putting 1 dice on the. So I've got 3 blue dice. 1, 2, 1 on him. So and obviously one would
Well,
be,
I suppose. Well, you've always got the is he with this one or that one question.
I don't
Well,
know
anyway,
which
doesn't
one,
matter.
and
If
one,
it was a tournament, I'd insist he's with the back one, but
yeah.
but we're not doing that, so let's not worry about that.
And the other dice on the light infantry on the far side. Let's not
You
forget.
you're persevering with them, are you? Okay.
Well, I'm
I
hoping.
thought the point of what you were doing was so that you could charge my horse in the flank.
Yeah, well, I could do that as well.
No, you
But
can't do it as well.
Do I get an advantage of charging you in the flank? Do you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't realise that. Right then, I shall do.
So if you look at when you're charged in the flank, so firstly, if you charge me from two directions at once, I immediately lose a cohesion. But that doesn't apply if only this one charges me.
But I can't charge in the flank because you're zocking me. I'm zocked by you. You just said that.
Here, but I also explained that if you put this one in between, then it means that my Zoc then no longer protects the flank of this one.
Ah, but I didn't think there was enough room there to do that.
Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Because it depends on which way round you attempt to do it.
See, I can't. What you're saying, to do that, I'm going to need to come out of the.
I'm going to borrow you. Oh yeah, you can't make Rome. You can't do it without breaking eggs. You probably are right. There probably isn't room, is there?
No, I didn't think
All
there
right.
was. See, so what
All right.
what I want to do is stop that cavalry unit from moving forward. That's what I'm after.
This one.
Yes, by
All
zocking.
right. So actually, you're going to try and put this guy whilst in the field, but with his Zoc on that one.
Exactly.
All right.
And that's my
So,
plan.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
That was my plan.
Right. So we're 1, 2, 3, and you still want to do one over there. All right.
Yes, that's exactly it. So.
And then you're going to hope that these people survive long enough that this one takes them in the flank. Okay.
Well, yeah, hopefully, or I can start whittling you down elsewhere. So first things first, move the light infantry elites towards your legionaries.
So this is another military commander moment. Light infantry are only allowed to charge if you come across here and throw your javelin at me, remembering that you didn't wound me, even though you won by.
I know I don't expect to do anything, but what I was hoping was that when you charge in, I can then charge you in the back. Can I charge you in the back?
You can, but it's not as devastating if you charge me with light troops.
In the back, you mean?
Yeah. It doesn't take one cohesion off.
Oh, doesn't it?
It does reduce my factor, but it doesn't take one off. I mean, I was thinking, the other thing your military commander might be saying to you, other than that, I'm just about to get chocolate, is, sorry, I could unwrap one and wave it in front of the camera, but you can't eat it.
Virtually.
Virtually eat it. You could think about the idea of charging the back of my legionary with a light infantry because then it would then can't go in, can I?
Well, I'll do that then. I need to stop you going in with everything. That's the point.
We should think about how that would work. I think what happens is that if I stick around, the first round of combat probably won't be that decisive, but if I stick around, you'll probably die. But it might save these.
Yeah.
That's the choice. You can either follow me, throw javelins at me, and hope these people then come in behind me, or you try and break me up. Up to you.
I need to break you up.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what I want to do.
What are you going to do? You're going to charge me then?
Yeah.
Middle one? You're going to go on. It depends how much you.
The middle one, ideally, yeah.
When you charge somebody, you declare any formation changes, and then you move straight. So you would say to me, I'm going to wheel a little bit, and then I'm going to go straight, and then your corner hits that, and then you can form in.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you're not bringing the other one.
No, it's pointless.
I agree. He's having such a nice paddle.
Okay, so the one with the blue one. So if you could turn him.
You wanted to do the thing where we turn here and wheel.
And zock you, yeah.
You will have me behind your flank, but I'm assuming you're going to be assuming that I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly. So then my auxiliary with the blue 2.
Check. We have that. You are. achieving what you wanted. Yeah.
With the blue 2, they're going to go incline forward and hit your auxilia.
Yeah, you need to do a thing where you wheel a little bit and then you go straight forward and then you can form.
That's what I want.
Who's joined? We get company.
Simon.
Hello, Si.
Hi, Simon.
The cavalry will obviously charge them like that. Perfect.
And leave him behind.
Oh yeah, he's not going in. I'll save him for a little
bit. Since you used your general's pit, we might insist you took the general.
No, that's a fair comment. Well, I think
it's
only reasonable, isn't it? And okay, so it's my shooting first, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's just bring Simon in. So we've got Graham is Thracians.
Yeah.
Who are we've universally agreed that these people are called bait, and that these
a bit like your war wagon last week. Exactly the same place.
these guys are trying to pick a victory out of it because there's 4 more Thracians than there are Romans.
Yeah.
And so this is the line of heavy legionaries who now have a Siloi stuck in the back.
Yeah.
A couple of heavy cavalry, some auxilia, and a slinger who's pretending he's got a bow. And we're on Thracians go.
Right, yeah.
So it's now over to you to help Graham, right? Because I've been trying to do that and be the Roman general.
Okay.
The Roman, I told him what the Roman plan would be, just to plough forwards, which is probably what we've done. So it's your shooting. That isn't going to take long because anybody you can shoot is either over here or fighting there. So my shooting. Yep, my shooting is the same.
Can you shoot at someone who's in contact?
No, and nor can you shoot at a supporter or if you are a supporter. So this one can't shoot.
No, that's good.
Right. So you've got 2 fights. Which one would you like to do first?
I want to do the one that's going to be victorious, the one against your legionaries.
Over here, the light infantry in the rear of the legionaries.
Yeah, I want that. That's the one that's going to win.
I think that's going to be very dull. But anyway, light infantry are 0 against all enemies, right? And you've got a javelin, which makes you a 1 in the first round of combat. When you chucked your javelin, then you lose it after that, right? So my swordsman, well, it doesn't matter what it says on here because they're attacked in the rear, so they're 0. So it's and then you get +1. So on the other side, under modifiers, there's a +1 for attacking a flank or rear. So you become 2, and I'm 0. And the fact that I've got supporters doesn't matter because they're facing the wrong way. Yeah.
Yep. You get support even though they're facing the wrong. Oh right, okay.
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. You don't get support because I'm facing. I don't get support. So you're 2-0 up. Here we go.
Alrighty.
2-0 up, and you rolled 2 up on the dice.
This is good. You laughed at them. They're going to be.
So I did laugh at them. Yeah. So firstly, you're elite. You remember you're elite. So it becomes 4-1. And then your 2 factors up. So you're a 6.
Well.
And then I've got armor, which takes it down, which means I effectively take 1 off. So the difference is now 4. So I get 2 wounds for the privilege.
That's good, isn't it?
It's better than the poking an eye with a.
Oh.
There you are.
That was rather
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Okay. So now, so we can do your war bandy types against the auxilia or the cavalry.
Cavalry, because it's got my leader.
And it doesn't matter what order you do them in.
It doesn't.
No, that's DBMM again.
Okay, sorry. Well, I'll do the cavalry anyway.
And your leader is he? Well, I heavily suggest Unless you think this is the decisive go and you'll never have to manoeuvre
No,
again.
He's not. No, he's just.
You don't put him in. You just,
No, I saw that last week.
Right. So this is because I think this is going to be even. So let's have a quick look. I'm a medium sword who's 1. I have impact. I was Simon. You get it because he charges me. I still get impact, don't I?
Yes.
It's odd that, but anyway.
He hasn't impact, has he? He doesn't have impact, does he?
He doesn't. Well, he does because he's a heavy cavalryman who doesn't have impact fighting a medium infantryman. So he gets the thing on the chart that says he gets impact.
But your guys are actually listed as auxiliary medium swordsman impact.
Yes, that's right. I'm listed as having it. I paid for it, whereas you get it by virtue of being heavy cavalry.
You don't actually get impact, do you? It's
it's a
just
+1.
It's not actually technically impact. I think it's just you get it in
the heavy cavalry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
You get +1.
He gets a +1 because he doesn't have impact. Bizarrely,
yes.
Yeah, but so my factor is 1 impact, 2 friend 3.
Yes.
Your factor is 1 for heavy cavalry, 2 for the fact you're fighting mediums and you don't have impact. So I'm 1 up.
Yeah.
I won that one by 2. So I go to 6. You've got heavy cavalry, so you can absorb a wound. So it's 3/6. So you get 2 wounds.
Blimey.
Yeah.
And here, so this is medium swordsman versus medium swordsman. The only difference is I have impact.
I didn't get furious charge or anything like that.
You would have had furious charge if you'd won.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But you don't get it here because when neither of us are impetuous troop type. So I'm 1 up.
Okay.
But you rolled 1 or higher, so that's a draw.
Okay.
And in the second round, I don't get impact. Impact's a first round thing, a bit like javelin. So that's the end of that go.
Yep.
That on the Romans, even though it's a bit odd putting it that side. So at the moment, you've got 3 wounds, and I've got you've got 2 troops that are wounded, and I've got 1. Okay, so the Romans' turn. 3. These dice are getting worse, aren't they? 3 is 5, which is 3 and 1. It's not how you want it, really. You don't want lots of pip dice when you're roaring into combat and then you stop. So this is the old conforming after melee thing, isn't it? I turn round for free here, don't I? And I have to. I don't get the option to ignore this irritating light infantry.
Oh, he charged you, did he?
He charged me in the rear.
Oh wow! How'd he get there then? That's weird.
How'd he get there? He came round. He came across the river.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
Even though it's difficult. 1 for him. 1 for him.
Does he get the option to evade? Because otherwise he's dead, isn't he?
No, I'm not cavalry.
I think if heavy infantry contact lights, they die.
Okay.
Destruction, page 52. If contacted by blah 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 heavy infantry, whose front's entirely in open terrain, it is destroyed unless they can evade.
Yeah, there's probably a thing in the conforming section where it says they get the option to evade, isn't there?
I would imagine so, yeah.
I assume with the melee you've turned to face me, haven't you?
Yeah, I think what Simon is saying is, as I turn to face you, do you get the option to evade? That's what we're just having a little debate about.
I don't think actually light infantry can charge the rear at all, actually, to be honest.
You don't think he can charge the rear? Why not?
No. On page 52, light infantry can only charge enemy if the target is light infantry, artillery, blah blah, or the target in nothing terrain.
I thought one of the blah blahs was or troops or a flank or rear.
But No, the target's got to be in rough or difficult terrain, I think.
Oh, right. Oh, well, there you go. Well. Well, okay. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We get somebody to come along. You do some shooting. We'll do the other. You know, we discussed 2 plans. The other one that you said was, I'm going to come here and follow you along and charge you in the rear when you hit me.
That's the better option, isn't it? You're best being an overlap effectively when he's fighting to his front.
So you coming along behind me. So you had a round of shooting that we skipped over. You 4-3 won't kill me. We work because of my extra armor and all those other things. Okay, right. So you're now there. So does that make life easier?
For you?
No, no. It just means I've now got even more pips. I don't know what to do with. Well, he's going to have to move because he's the only one that's going to save me from being dead. What are we going to do here? Don't want to leave the wood. Going to move the camp. No, I don't know what I don't know what to do. Right. So all of these people are going to charge all of those people. And the horse is going to come as well. That's why I have to have an extra pip. And this one, so you zocked me here, so I have to make a move that makes me more aligned with you at the end than at the beginning. It's impossible. What I want to do is impossible. Oh well. I think, well, or we can go backwards, can't we? We do the thing. We're not heavy cavalry. Don't get evade move, do they?
Yeah. So they haven't got impact, have they?
No.
But if they go backwards, they've got to go all the way back and end up facing away.
Yeah, but we take one off the turn round, don't we?
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like my light cavalry did.
Yes. Well, I'm not coming in that field to fight you.
No.
That's probably the best I can do. So I still got a pip left. This is very Roman, isn't it? You have to just, the fact that our position is lousy, we just have to live with.
Just got to butcher what's in front of you, haven't you?
Well, that is it's a one game plan turn, isn't it? We have to win by killing all this lot, or he'll hit me in the flank. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's it. Right. So I've done the moves. We're shooting. That still doesn't take long because you can't shoot here. You're out of range, and neither of us shoots here. So fighting. So we'll just run along the lines. So these are heavy. You're a medium swordsman, so you're 1. I'm a heavy swordsman, so I'm 1, and I have impact 2. So I'm 1 up, all along the line. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just looking where it says picket 1 on the reference sheets. What does it say 1 on there?
So medium swordsman +1 versus everything except a knight. So this under basic factor and modifiers here.
Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Sorry. Okay, yep, got you. Okay, thank you.
Oh well, yeah. So we're going to start well.
You should be embarrassed by that.
Well, apart from the fact you did it to me a minute ago, yeah, the other way around. This one, same thing, except now it's the other way around. Look at that, 6-2 the other way around. So I was 2 up. Is that right? No, I was 1 up. 1 up. So that's 3-6. I've got armor. That means it's 4-6. So I get a wound.
Graham's not a two-handed weapon, is he? Is he?
No, we're all basic swordsmen. Yeah, these are these are early Thracians. We went for numbers rather than. I actually didn't think that was worth having, if I was honest. Against Romans, because it doesn't break a tie, it's not worth having, is it?
Yeah.
This one?
Oh, I can only see the one. I don't know what else.
Yeah, you don't need to see the rest. It's going to alternate along the line. This one, I'm not joining in. 5. Oh, that's a draw.
I can't see any of those dice.
It's 5-4.
Okay.
Well, we can get, now that I've advanced, we can put this in here. Look, as a sort of barrier protecting your infantry from the other one. This last one here, last infantry. 4, so 4 up is 2. And then the cavalry. So this is my heavy cavalry versus your medium swordsman. So this is the same as over here, except you don't get impact. So you're 1, and I'm 1 for heavy cavalry and an extra 1 for my charge. And I'm 1 by 1. So I win by 2, and then I get furious charge. So you go yellow.
I don't think you get. Why do you get furious charge, Steve?
I don't get furious charge.
I'm sure you do. You don't have impact, or you're not impetuous, are you?
No. So does heavy cavalry not get?
What does it say? Furious charge. What's that?
Furious charge. Furious charge is irritatingly not on the quick reference sheet, is it?
Oh, yeah.
You have to look it up in the rule book.
There we go. Page 58.
Right.
Cavalry are knights that have impact.
Other cavalry, but only against LMI.
And these are LOIs, medium.
And you're not LMI. So hang on a minute. I won the die roll by 1, and I was 1 factor better. So there we go. You get 1 wound. Thank you, Simon. Saved him there. Right. And we've got this over here. So this is now 1-all. Because I don't have impact anymore.
What are those dice?
It's all going downhill, Graham. 3-1. And then you've your cavalryman. He's now 1. You don't get the extra +1 only in the first round, don't you? So you're 1. You're 1 wounded 0, and I'm 1 friend 2. Can you see that?
6-1.
Is there a 1 and a 6? Is that right?
It's a 1. You've won by 4.
Oh man, that's good, isn't it?
They're 1 by 2.
So it's effectively 1 by 2, isn't he?
Yeah.
With the difference in factors. So I get a wound. Right. So that's the fighting done. So now we do the end of go. So you can only take 3 wounds with these. So anybody who's gone red is dead. Is off the board, and because it's my go, I get the option to follow up, which I'm going to take.
Okay, my bait plan didn't work, did it? Didn't realise you're going to be quite so dynamic.
We'll see. It's not over yet, because you've got a big hole here. Field is still working for you. Right, so it's your turn. We'll roll the white dice for Pippy Whippies. We'll roll the white dice. There were 3. So 5 and 1. 3 and 1.
Well, one of the blues has got to go on the right next to that unit that's going to come out of the woods and charge your cavalry in the flank. It has to be done.
It's a field, but yes.
Field, yeah, I keep saying.
Still a field.
Yeah.
Those, so have a think actually, Graham. Do you want me to help you? Or
please do. Yeah.
How far away is the light infantry from that guy fighting?
This guy.
Yeah. Is he within?
He's close enough. Yeah. When I said you've got 2 choices: charge him in the flank now or charge up. The alternative was to be in charge reach for this position.
So you can't charge, but you can move up to be an overlap, can't you, on the rear?
Yeah. Well, you can now do that.
If you want to, you can do that, couldn't you? Yeah.
Well, that's what you came for. We went through all of this a minute ago.
This is the pain. That's why I moved them there for. So yeah, that's good. I've got 1 more blue left.
So the only other thing you could, if you think that's a good move,
you might as well bring your friend up, mightn't you?
Well, I was thinking, could the back one can do that? So can the front one go here.
Yeah, could do. If you...
Because you slide and charge 3. So actually what you could do is this one could charge that one, and that one can charge that one.
Which is kind of what I was trying to do anyway.
But it will then only leave you with your general's dice.
You really want to charge that cavalry, don't you, really? That's probably the better one.
Which one? Well, you put a dice through. You got 3 and 1.
Oh,
so
I see.
1, 2, 3, and then the general's 1, but he's over here with this bloke.
Yeah, then the option is. So what about that? Is that a heavy cavalry?
It is, yeah. I did.
This.
Is he medium or heavy?
Heavy.
Heavy. Shame you can't go into the woods, really. I'd like, if I had an extra dice, I would have brought him round behind the field, back to where the main melee is. That would
Yeah.
That's where.
Well, except this guy's now going to appear here.
No, he has to do that anyway. But
the other one is try to rally that guy who's fighting, isn't he, with the general? But that would cost you 2. That would cost you 2, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because he's fighting. You need 2, don't you? Even though the general's there.
Well, I haven't got a spare dice, have I?
No. So I think the option is whether to take up.
Move the general somewhere else.
If you charge the heavy cavalry against that light infantry in the wood, because you would be, it wouldn't be great, but you would be what? You'd be.
Well,
you would be 1, 2, wouldn't you? Oh.
Yeah, then you take 2 off for the wood.
And the light infantry would be
1 because it's javelin. Oh no, it's 0. It's not javelin. It's a slinger, so it's 0, isn't it?
But then he's got better armor, hasn't he?
How am I going to do that though? How am I? Can he shout at them to move? Has he got a range? Of course he has. Yeah, he's got a range, so you can activate them.
No. You need a pip dice.
Yeah.
So what Simon's talking about is instead of putting one of these guys in over here, use it here instead.
I think they're needed in the middle because that's where I'm going to lose the game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be needed in the middle.
You could bump off that line infantry in one go if you got lucky, didn't you?
With my
cavalry.
How am I going to get the cavalry?
You're a lot keener on cavalry and woods than I am, Simon. I think that's a 0 all dice off, isn't it?
Well, with my
plus he's got armor, isn't he? He's got armor.
With my general, I'm going to move him back to that unit behind.
That's good. That's an idea.
Yeah,
you can do things next turn,
and then I can actually use them next turn.
Yeah, that's an idea. And then do a light infantry, as Steve suggested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So charge.
I don't quite know what happens to my general. I suppose he's still with the unit. Only
he's with the unit. Yeah.
Although he's now a bit embarrassed by these light infantry.
Charge out the field into the flank, that was my master plan. I've got to at least try. Or do you take a shock for that?
I do. Yeah, take a cohesion loss for that. Fighting in 2 directions.
That was well worth it then, wasn't it?
You don't with the lights, Graham, because lights don't cause that kind of cohesion loss, basically.
But at least they do something.
They give you an overlap, yeah.
Exactly. And that's it. That's all I can do, isn't it?
So that was it. So now we do shooting. That didn't take long, did it? So now we do fighting.
Yep. So I'll do the nice one first. My trap. Pardon me. It's the one.
So again.
I'll do my trap.
Here, this one. Yeah.
That was my whole entire game plan, was focused on
the whole game plan. Yeah. Well, that's fine. So I'm 0 -1 for the wound. That's easy.
Yeah.
You're 1 wounded, 0 friend 1.
So I'm 1 up.
Yeah. Steve's 0 because if you fight in 2 directions and they're not lights, you drop just a basic factor of 0.
Did I win? Can't see the dice.
Your cunning plan didn't win.
I rolled a 3. Not a 6 again. Good lord.
So I'm 1 down. So you take another wound.
You were 2 down, weren't you? Yeah, but that's enough to lose by 1. Isn't
it? I thought it was
he was 1 and you were -1. He was 2 up. Graham was 2 up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, you're right. So it's still a narrow victory.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do one of the ones where you're being charged in the rear then.
Okay. Well, we'll go back over here then. So
do that one.
Well, this is I'm 1 that's a wound I've got there, isn't it? Where did I get that from?
It's a
Oh,
wound.
because I managed to lose the combat, didn't I? So I did it. So I'm 1-0.
It does happen.
It does happen.
Yeah, 0, but I've got 2 friends. So I'm up to 2. You're a 1 friend 2, so it's evens.
There we go. Come on, white dice.
Well, you won by 1, but I've got armor, so that's a draw.
Okay, the other one then.
So this one here is I'm 1 friend 2, and you're 1 friend 2. So my armor doesn't save me that time, so I get a wound.
Blimey, shock, horror.
It is disgusting. Fancy wounding a legionary.
Well, and finally the one in the middle, which I can't avoid. So I'm 2 down.
You're, as you quite rightly say, you're 2 down there.
No, you're 1 down, aren't you? Graham's 0.
Oh yeah, 1 down. Yeah, well, I was going to accept his word of 2 down, but you're 1 down.
I don't know what I'm doing though.
It's 1-1, and you're wounded, so
Yeah,
that's difference of 1. But the dice evened up, so we'll just take that to red.
Okay.
Bummer.
Squish. And we didn't do these ones over here, did we?
No, we didn't do those. So we'll do.
So this one, I'm 1 up because you've got a wound.
But and the one bit behind that, I've got
This
2
one?
wounds, and you got.
Well, it only counts as there's not. You don't. Maybe that's where we went wrong over there. It doesn't matter how many wounds you've got. It's like you get a -1 for having a wound.
Oh, it's
not
a wound, not multiple wounds. Okay.
Not multiple wounds. Doesn't matter. But I've got 1 as well. So aren't we? We're basically 1-1, but we're both wounded. So the only difference is I've got an overlap.
Yeah.
So I'm 1 up. So I'm 1 up there and 1 up there.
Okay, doesn't matter then, does it? I'll do the cavalry then.
Cavalry.
5.
Draw.
Dice?
It's 5-all. It's a draw because you've got armor.
Okay. I can't see the blue dice very well.
Keeps you in a game. The other one. Well, I won that one, so you go yellow. You get another wound. Right. So at the end of your go, he dies.
Oh dear.
And nothing else changed. Is that right? Now it's my go. 3, which is 3 and 1, isn't it? 3 and 1. Right, what am I going to do?
Finish me off.
Right, get out of dodge, I would have thought. Well, what are these people doing at my backside? I don't want to be here. Well, I suppose we've got... What can you do with a heavy infantry legionary who's not behind your flank? I can either stay here and count as an overlap to 2 people, or turn round and run off the light infantry. Or I can spend the pips doing something else. 1 for him. We still don't want to come out of the wood. We're probably... Well, we could turn on your flanks and give you lots of casualties over there. Or we could attempt to rally somebody. No, we'll go for the jugular. 1 for him, 1 for him, and that leaves me. Use this to go to commit myself to battle. No, I'm Roman. Play like a Roman. Stay well away. I'll move myself out of the way. Right, so I'm going to turn on your flank here. So I did that thing where I advanced, so that because you can only remember you can only turn on somebody's flank if you start behind their flank.
Yep.
Which is why advancing makes a difference. But of course, if you do it wrong, the opponent gets a go and charges you in the flank instead. So that one's going to turn on that one for that pip dice and give you a win there. I said he was going to get out of dodge, so he can come down here.
break off for melee, can he?
He wasn't in melee.
Oh no, okay.
That's my cavalry. This bloke's going to come back, but somewhere where he won't be in the. But he will be in charge reach for next go. And that was my moves. Is my moves. Sorry, English. Okay, so that's the Roman moves. So now it's shooting. That didn't take long. Fighting. So fighting, we just go down the board. So you are 1, wounded 0.
No, he's 0, isn't he? He's 0, 1, isn't he?
Well, so he's 0, -1, 1. You're right. Thank you, Simon. You're hitting the flank. So you're 0.
Can you go
and
below
I'm
0?
Yeah. And I'm 1, 0, 1.
Oh, Graham's got an overlap as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got this light infantry in my rear.
So he's 0, -1, 0. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's 0 and I'm 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I roll?
You rolled a 6.
I can't see the dot. It's the white. The white is just a white.
It's a glare, is it? Is
Yeah,
that the
that's better? I can see it now.
That's a draw, isn't it? I think.
Is that better, or is it also, is it now got dark and we should all go home because it's night time?
It's a little better.
Oh, we don't have to have it up full. Right. So basically, you were 1 factor down, weren't you? And I've got armor, so that's a draw. So all that effort, 2 legionaries, it's a draw. This must be exactly a rerun. Oh no, I've got another man here, haven't I?
Yeah.
So I'm now 2 factors up.
What did I roll? Oh, 2. Oh, I can see.
Oh, yeah, yes, it's
you
the right way.
You want to show me that one, don't you?
It's the right way. It's the right way round this time, isn't it? Right. Yeah.
You're
So he's. Oh, sorry. Let's do it properly. He goes to red.
And once he's got 3, then he goes, doesn't he? Because different troop types have different numbers they lose on, don't they? Do your legionaries go on 3 as well? Do they?
No, they're 4.
Oh, they're so tougher. Okay.
Yeah. So here I'm 0 for being hit in the flank, -1 for the wound, 0 for the friend. You're 1, wounded 0, 1 for the friend. So you're 1 up.
Ooh, come on! Nice to kill something.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid that was utterly as far as it would go. So
that's a 6-1. I can see that.
You were 1 up, so that's 6-2. Well, that's just going to be squish, isn't it? That's a squish, right? And then over here. So we're still 1 up here, aren't we? Because of your wound. So that's a draw, but I'm 1 up. And this is 1-1, but
you're 1 up, aren't you, Steve?
But I've got a friend.
You've got overlap, haven't you? I can see the dice now. 6-2.
Yeah.
You are rolling hot, aren't you?
Well, it's been a bit wild actually because there were several the other way. Anyway, that's so at the end of that go, he dies, and you attack him in the rear, so I don't get to follow up, do I? And he dies. So the bait is well and truly consumed. And again, I don't get to follow up because of this bloke attack him in the flank. He dies in a noble effort to run over the legionaries, and he, as the nobles, lack leadership and die. And
so
we would,
as well.
And we would follow up in both cases to there.
I suspect this is game over, isn't it?
Must be.
Well, now we add up the score, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dead Thracians, which would make 14, 15, 16.
And how many dead have you got?
and there are no dead Romans, but there is 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds.
So I've got 4 on you then.
You got 4 on me.
Well, that's not bad.
No. It's not bad. No, you know, right at the beginning when I said to you about your deployment, that I suppose actually I hadn't quite realised how quickly I would get across the board. I know what happened when you started to come up this way. You moved short. You didn't move fully, did you?
No, but I didn't want to come out of the farm, the field. That was why.
Yeah, but I think you have to interfere with my flank, don't you?
Well, I thought I did.
And actually, the other thing, of course, was when you move both cavalry round this way, you would then have to interfere with my flank with only people in the field.
Yeah, you kind of wasted those cavalry, haven't you? I think.
Yeah, I did. I was hoping that they might have swept the auxiliary away, but
well, there was a go when the first go they go in, they're up, aren't they?
If they go up beat by 1, they get an extra 1 for furious charge. You said, didn't you?
No, they wouldn't.
He's got.
I'm going to impact there.
No, actually, you're right. That's another rule I misled you on, but I'd have given it to you anyway. The other thing we didn't cover is when you've got wounded cavalry, you can pull them out.
Oh, okay. I could have broken off.
You can disengage with them. It costs 2 dice, isn't it? 2 CPs. Is that right? If you're not an evade type, anyway, you can do that. But of course, but you can't do it. Well, actually, anybody who's a faster troop type can do it, but your foot are not faster than mine. So you'd have, if the cavalry clear out, you leave them to the mercy of the. So although you can do that, it's not very easy to arrange very often, unless you can do something where you pull one out and charge in use them as like a rotation.
Yeah, in and out, 1 in, 1 out, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's quite. I've never actually. I know in theory you can do it, but you almost never have the opportunity. It's my experience.
I suppose if you go historically, Huns would do that, or the Mongols maybe.
Yes. Yeah. True. Yeah. So I mean, this is what happens now. It's classic Rome, isn't it? It's the old. You can hear the ants going tunk, 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 across the board.
Yeah. Maybe the terrain. Maybe my mistake. I'll tell you what my mistake was.
I thought it was brave to take the Thracians.
Possibly.
There's a choice of armies.
Well,
I suppose.
The reason why
you've got to try and win on the flank, haven't you, or the flanks?
Honestly. Well, it looked really good after the initial train set up because the village was here.
Well, that was my.
But I managed to roll a thing that means I could move it, and then we had this whole discussion, and I realised actually I could move it to the other. There's enough room to put it the other side of the river.
That's what done for me. See, I do wonder if maybe if I'd have one less piece of terrain, maybe it would have stopped you.
And because I rolled, because you have to do that, you have to be able to move it 6, and because actually if you roll it so you can only move 4, it can't go across the river. It would end up back there somewhere, which is what I was originally going to do.
I suppose you could put the cavalry on the other side and try and get them over the river. You've got to push back and try and get them over. That would be damaging, wouldn't
it? Yeah. Well,
I needed to get around your flanks to beat you there. To be fair, you were always going to do that, and that's what I tried with the light infantry, and that's what I tried with the field badly. Yeah. But that was my plan. I shouldn't have committed the cavalry to the left, maybe. But then,
or taking one of them was okay. I mean, I split them maybe. I don't know.
Because cavalry can go with lights, can't they? Cavalry could go with lights and not slow them down.
Okay.
Well, the other thing I thought about the deployment is interesting. You put 2 Siloi over there because if you'd have put 1 light horse in the village and put your 2 Siloi on this side. At 5, because it's like up here, isn't it?
Yeah.
5. You've got, because actually these elite Siloi are really nasty Siloi killers.
They would have taken your slingers.
Well, you've got to worry about if you deploy light infantry in the open, and you've got to worry that in some weird way I attempt to do something, and I haven't got a light horse, have I? So actually, you're quite safe. because my heavy cavalry can only start there. So in my first go, I can get to there, and then you'll be in the wood. So,
Okay.
and then this isn't much of a threat to the camp, but you were never going to go that. You said you were not going to attack my camp. Can light infantry take a fortified camp, Simon?
I think so. It's just it's just cavalry can't do it.
Yeah, but I think you have to roll
We've got to roll something, haven't we? But
have to roll 6 or something because it's quite hard.
If nobody's stopping you, you just keep on rolling until you do it, I suppose.
Well, I was just going to take we discussed that if you're a Roman, you've got these hardcore of elite troops. They have to fight, and B, you can't afford to be squeamish about flanks and.
To be honest with you, the reason why I chose the Thracians because you had them in front of me, and you had the
Right.
Romans at the far end. That was the only reason I chose them. It was nothing clever. It was
no.
It was just for pure practicalities. I didn't look at.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's fine. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. The whole point was to play a game.
And because essentially, all I ever did was move the middle forward and try and shield my flank.
Yeah.
So
here, and I quite often didn't use all the pips I had, did I? It's just not enough Romans to use all those pips.
Light troops can't take fortified camps.
Right. So if the light horse, all it could have done was meandered around behind me and be a nuisance.
Yeah.
But light cavalry can charge the back of these, can't they?
I think they can, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's light horse that charge the back of the legionaries and do what I said, not light infantry. You're right.
So maybe having those two around the other way might have made a difference. Would it made a huge difference? I don't think so. I needed to put something almost in front of my warband to slow you up, which.
You see, I thought you were right. You put your camp here. What happens if you essentially deploy all of these warband? Because you want me to fight you over this.
Yeah.
While you use all the rest of the board, don't you? So you almost, what happens if you pile them in over here somewhere? So you can't go within 3, so you end up with some weird formation a bit like this. And then you might have your horsemen over here.
Wouldn't that leave them the ones sticking out a little exposed?
Yeah, but what you do is you do that side shuffle. You come in your first go, you come forward 1, go sideways 1. The whole block.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was. We discussed you what the problem I think you end up with is there's nothing wrong with the bait, but if the bait's too big.
It was too
I was trying to talk you. I was originally trying to talk you into putting more men, splitting them more evenly. So either 5-4, one way or the other. Must be another one. I must have lost one somewhere. Because there should be 9, shouldn't there? Oh, there they are. They're there. 5-4. So that you still had some over here, because in a sense, then this block at the back here means that if I try and concentrate my Romans here, these people, they keep me honest. So then if I go that way, I don't know.
It's too big to ignore, isn't it? That 4, then you have to. Yeah.
The question
I don't know.
The question I've got for you then is, looking at the terrain, the terrain pieces are quite small in the scheme of things, aren't they, for the table? Do you not think?
I do. I think that. I think in this 100 format,
the train, however I put the train out, your legionaries are always going to find a gap to fight in, and they're always going to fight in the open, almost certainly. Even if I'd have, as you say, turtled in the corner, which is what you were suggesting, and tried to, you would have come down by the river, and then you'd done a great big wheel, and then you would have hit me in the flank along my base edge. That's what I would do if I was you. And
but if you're you'd have gone this way like that. You'd have gone like that,
yeah.
and while the Romans are doing that, you're coming up here. So we'd end up fighting diagonally across here.
Yeah.
And then it depends how many of them there are left and whatever.
Is there a club meeting next week online or something?
There is, yes, 8 o'clock.
Is it on Facebook or something? Or
I've got an email that details I can send you, but it's also on Facebook, and I believe it's on the website. Although the website is hidden under some topic like club news.
Can you send it to me as well?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll send it to the whole ADLG group. I thought I had sent it to the whole ADLG group, but obviously I didn't, because the fact that everybody keeps asking me about it.
Is it a big deal? This any announcement?
It's half an hour. I don't. Well, Chris is negotiating with the Ascot people about how they'll sweeten the deal to allow us to sensibly hold warfare. And I think he's also talking to the Winnersh Community Centre about when and how they'll open the hall, because halls are opening soon. Certainly the one in my village is opening in the next few weeks, but with quite a small capacity.
Farley Whitney.
Yeah. A valid terrain element has now fit a circle of 4 UD in its diameter.
Yeah.
In diameter.
All right, chaps, gonna make a move. Got a
Yeah, sure.
Cheers,
I'm just making sure that because I cut these pieces of terrain out. So a 4 UD diameter is that. So that you have to fit a valid terrain piece, and that's now fit inside a circle. So that is the biggest size. That they're all cut out. That's right. I've done it right.
It just looks small for the table, even for this 100.
It does. Yeah. No, I agree. It does.
Yeah. I wonder if some battles were entirely rough. You know, they weren't just plain with bits of rough on them. They were entirely rough. I think some of the battles the Romans won against pike armies.
I mean, this is supposed to be a forest. So I was the defender, and I was supposed to have a forest. And I mean, you look at one farm, one small wood, and a built-up area.
But you chose to only if you wanted more forests, you could have had another 2.
So I could have 3 forests, could I?
Yeah, but then you don't have the field and the village. You have 3.
But they're still the same size. My point being is that they're still the same size. It's irrelevant what they are. They are effectively that size, aren't they?
Yeah, they're quite small. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to go as well. So thank you very much for hosting.
Oh, a pleasure. I hope you got a flavour of how it works.
I got a taste of it. Yeah, I did, and it was useful because, as I say, I did look at the rules very briefly, and those FAQs helped. But yeah, so that was good. Thank you very much, Steve. Much appreciated.
And actually, I think there's for a small game, there's quite a lot of tactical stuff goes into it. You know.